Well, the long-simmering conflict between conservatives and Silicon Valley is increasingly lurching into an all-out war. Just last week, James Damore sued Google for firing him over an internal memo on diversity that was basically unremarkable by normal people's standards. Now, conservative journalist Chuck Johnson has sued Twitter after it banned his account. Milo Yiannopoulos and Roger Stone threatening to do the same thing. New videos, meanwhile, from Project Veritas suggest that Twitter deliberately shadow banned certain users, likely for politically motivated reasons. Twitter, when we asked him, didn't really deny it. Author and columnist Mark Steyn joins us tonight to assess the wreckage of Silicon Valley. And we learned, Mark, that a lot of these companies suck up to the repressive authoritarian government of China and squelch speech for the sake of increasing their profit margins. Is there any moral authority left in Silicon Valley?
I don't think so. China is the last big market to conquer. It doesn't really make a lot of difference in money terms, but down the road they see it as that. And if you look at it in particular, the internet has, in the last 10 years, I love the internet. I preferred the internet 10, 15 years ago. In the last decade, it's dwindled down to a duopoly. Basically Facebook and Google, who between them take 84% of the digital revenue on the entire planet, excluding China. And that actually means that Google and Facebook account for over 30% of all revenue on the planet. So they're basically beyond market pressures, and they have a highly ideological, politicized staff who, as we saw in these leaks from Twitter, basically are glorying, reveling in the power they have to do down their ideological foes.
So I don't understand. A really simple question, since I live in Washington. Here you have two companies, at least two, that are operating what is textbook monopoly to the detriment of consumers in this country. They're really a threat to the U.S. government, and they're more powerful than the U.S. government. And the U.S. Congress, which is charged with overseeing this and preventing this from happening, throws up its hands and says, I don't see any violation here. I don't understand how they could sit impotently in the face of this threat.
No, well, I thought Senator Lee was rather unimpressive on your show a couple of days ago on this, Tucker. Very disappointing. In a sense, we are in a very potentially dangerous situation here because, as you say, this is a de facto Google, Facebook monopoly around the planet. And if you look at, for example, the European Union, Angela Merkel actually wants Facebook. She's caught on tape with Zuckerberg, in effect asking Zuckerberg to control and enforce the restriction of sort of right-wing populist movements in Germany. Theresa May in Britain looks on Facebook and Twitter in the same way, that she wants them to be her enforcers. And so I think the danger here is that in America, in the European Union and elsewhere, in a sense, the natural political inclinations of Facebook and Google are incentivized by craven politicians. There's a kind of logic. If you want to steer clear, they're beyond commercial pressure now. Only antitrust pressure in Washington or in Brussels could restrain this entity. But in a sense, they've found a political sweet spot that incentivizes the left-wing thought control they're engaging in.
And yet Republicans control almost all levers of power in the U.S. government and are doing nothing. Maybe later in the week you can come back on and tell me what the point of voting for them in the first place was. I'd be interested to know.
That may be... That may be a very long and depressing program.
It might be. Mark Steyn, thank you as always.
And a ratings bomb to boot. Thanks a lot, Tucker.
Thank you.